Patron, we craft our tequila using high-quality natural ingredients without additives. No sweeteners, no extracts, no secrets. In fact, Patron's secret ingredient is that we have no secret ingredients. Just 100% additive-free tequila, made with 100% Weber Blue Agave, water, and thyme. Patron, 100% additive-free tequila. Visit patrontequila.com to learn more. The perfect way to enjoy Patron is responsibly. Copyright 2025, imported by Patron Spirits Company, Coral Gables, Florida. Tequila 40% ABV.
Today on CityCast Philly, it's the Friday News Roundup. We've got details on the mayor's ambitious housing plan, the federal cuts that mean millions of dollars in eliminated research programs at Penn. Also, what happened to the portal? And which Philebrity just got a street named after him? It's Friday, March 28th. I'm Matt Katz, executive producer of CityCast Philly, sitting in for Trinae this week, who's on a much-needed spring break. And here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week for the Friday News Roundup is CityCast Philly producer Abby Fritz. Hey, Abby.
Good morning, Matt.
And Siani Colon, editor of our Hey Philly newsletter, which you can get in your inbox every day. News and events listings, a lot more. Hey there, Siani.
Morning, guys.
So the big news of the week, guys, is the budget hearings finally gotten underway. The mayor had made her budget address a couple weeks back, but now we're like drilling into the details, right? And that helped us learn a lot more about the budget than we knew just from her speech. So it's not just Mayor Parker's proposed cuts for business taxes that got some scrutiny, and we're going to talk about that. What really caught my eye was the mayor's plan to get rid of this pilot program that's been going on, and that's for the poorest Philadelphians to be able to ride for free on SEPTA. About 25,000 Philadelphia residents have been eligible for this zero fare program. They've taken 6.6 million trips through this program for free since 2023 when it started. And just for some context here, individuals making less than $16,000, family of four making less than $33,000, that's who was eligible for these free SEPTA passes. And apparently it's been cut from the mayor's budget. This will no longer exist. It was funded by the city because we all know SEPTA's broke, so they weren't paying for it. And the fact that this cut is coming to us not from the mayor's budget address, but from council member Nick O'Rourke, that's pretty interesting to me because he's the member of the Working Families Party, more liberal, progressive than the mainstream Democrats in the city. And he told us on our show just a couple of weeks ago that he was concerned about the mayor's proposed business tax cuts because there wouldn't be enough revenue for the city to provide services to people potentially. And now there's a similar theme with this cut in the SEPTA program. It was O'Rourke who actually brought this up. He's the one who got this to come out at the hearing that this free SEPTA pass program could potentially hurt working people. So that's where kind of the lines are when it comes to the debate over this budget, right? I mean, how do we ease the tax burden on businesses, but not necessarily lose too much money in the budget so that working people and the impoverished in the city aren't hurt? Siani, you've been looking into the emerging debates related to this budget, particularly over taxes, right?
Yeah, so this is going to continue to unravel as budget hearings progress. Part of Mayor Parker's plan is that she wants to lower business and wage taxes, and this is following recommendations from the Philadelphia Tax Reform Commission. But there's been skepticism about this plan, really due to the timing of it. Is this really the time to make these cuts when we're seeing that under the current Trump administration, there's been cuts to federal grants and how that is going to trickle down to the city. So, some council members really want to preserve what we have because we don't know how the finances are going to look like as more cuts unravel under this current administration.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much uncertainty when it comes to the federal government and money coming from the federal government, and then the impact of federal policies on our local economy and what that might mean. So yeah, many council members want to make sure we have money in reserve to protect against any sort of Trump administration effects.
Yeah, and To counter Mayor Parker's plan, Councilmember O'Rourke, along with his fellow Working Families Party member, Councilmember Kendra Brooks, they just recently came out with their own tax plan, which they've dubbed the People's Tax Plan. So some of the details that were outlined in their plan, they want to propose a wealth tax. So that would be on stocks and bonds held by city residents. They also want to institute a wage tax refund program, and that would benefit lower income individuals. And when it comes to small business tax relief, they want to raise an exemption on business income and receipts. And small business tax relief, they want to raise an exemption up to $200,000. And that's opposite to the mayor's plan, who wants to gradually wane this program until it's eventually eliminated, because there's debate on whether the business income and receipts tax exemption violates state constitution. So there's some back and forth on what this tax plan is going to look like. If this proposed people's tax plan can really make it in City Hall. So we'll see how that continues to be addressed.
Part of the budget and part of really the mayor's agenda for the year is to create or preserve 30,000 affordable units of housing. And she got into the details of that this week, right, Sandy? Like, she did a speech, and the plan for how this $2 billion housing program is going to work was laid out. What do you think?
Yeah, so she unveiled more details about the Housing Opportunities Made Easy initiative, HOME for short. And the money is coming from all sorts of places. So we're talking city bonds, which she wants to use already $400 million in bonds on housing projects. As she says, she wants the shovels in the dirt by the end of this year, so we can see these projects being built by early next year. Another set of the money is being assessed by the value of city land that she believes can be used for development. And other sources for this plan would be like federal and state programs. And, she's trying to make this all happen by, speaking about taxes, repealing a 1% tax on construction. And the end goal of all of this is to get at least 30,000 affordable housing units. So it's not just about building something new. With the shovels in the dirt, a good half of that will be newly constructed units. But the other part is preserving the aging homes in the city. We know Philly is old. Yeah. And our houses are old. So the goal is to not just build something new, but preserve what we already have.
This is very ambitious.
And with ambition comes with challenges. Again, timing of a lot of these things that are being proposed is what's happening on the federal level and what's going to trickle down to the city. So, how we're seeing HUD offices being eliminated and project funding being slashed. So that will be something to keep an eye on. If we're relying on some of these funds to come from federal programs, that can be really iffy with what we're seeing, again, on the federal level with all these cuts and layoffs.
We've got more news about some of the effects of those federal cuts after the break.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hear that? It's SpringFest savings calling your name. Only at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Plus, get your choice of any 2 bags of Miracle Grow organic soil mix for only $16. Shop these can't-miss deals in-store or online today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Hawaii.
All right, guys, so we do local news here. We don't talk about the president every week, but the last couple of months have certainly been different because so many decisions in Washington are having dramatic effects here in our city. Abby, what's going on with Penn?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with Penn, if I'm being honest, but we're going to focus specifically on some funding cuts from the federal government that have directly affected research that is happening at Penn. So I read in the Daily Pennsylvanian earlier this week.
And that's the student paper at Penn, and they've been doing an amazing job, like just being on top of all of this stuff as it breaks.
First 3 research projects had their funding pulled by the National Institutes of Health. The NIH said these projects were, quote unquote, incompatible with agency priorities, and no modification of the project could align the project with agency priorities. So they basically just said, like, dead stop, we're not funding this. We're done. That got their federal funding completely cut. Were 2 relating to nicotine addiction and vaping in sexual and gender minorities. And one of those was focused specifically on teens, and the other was looking into the impact of HIV on vaccines.
It's as if Elon Musk did Control F in the federal budget for like sexual and gender minorities and then hit delete.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think also too, HIV affects more than just like gender, sexual minorities.
Correct.
But I think that particular study's relation to vaccines is an interesting thing to think about when thinking about how the NIH is assessing the types of funding they're going to pull. So on top of those 3 projects getting their funding pulled, Penn faculty received stop work orders this week for research grants from Penn President Jameson. In all, 175 million grants were frozen. Faculty and research across 7 of Penn's schools were directly affected, and their federally contracted research was halted. So it's not just these 3 projects now. It's kind of gone beyond that. We've found this week that it's touching a lot of the school's research. So, this is just the beginning. This email went into details about a couple other things that are happening from the federal government kind of cracking down on Penn for various things. So I don't think this is the last thing we're going to hear from Penn about how the federal government is going to shape this university, at least financially, in years to come.
It just feels like all this talk about efficiency, it seems way more wasteful to stop all this research after so much time and resources and energy have already gone into this, and just halt it before we can even find out the end result of everything that was being done. That seems much more wasteful.
Totally. And I in the article I was reading, one of those first 3 research projects were in like their last year of research. So they're not even like really dishing money out like that anymore. They're more doing the kind of let's assess the findings portion of their research. So some of them were like, we didn't really even need much more money to just get this done.
I feel bad for the people involved, right? I mean, people have been working on something for so many years and now have hit a dead end and can't finish their project. They're just sitting on incomplete data. Sienna, you were talking about like short-term, long-term, right? If you make cuts now, but there could actually be longer-term financial pain from it. And that got me thinking about the cuts, other cuts, right? I mean, Abby, there's cuts from the Department of Agriculture, and that's going to affect our food banks.
Yeah. There's been a good chunk of funding cut in Pennsylvania that is going to directly affect food banks. So this month, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced a $470 million cut to the local food purchase assistance program. And according to the Inquirer, this means there's going to be a loss of $13 million in Pennsylvania specifically. So this program, if you're not familiar with it, came out of COVID. And all of the funding that went to it was split evenly between every county in the state. So this helped people get access to food that in a time of turmoil and in many different ways. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture is basically saying, like, this was a COVID era thing. COVID is over. And so we're going to backtrack on this particular program. But organizers warn that there is still elevated need in the state, and this could really hurt people, especially it's not like they're trying to fade out this program or like slowly, wean it out. So it could really create a drastic change in food banks funding across the state and what they're able to provide to people that have been dependent on this since 2020 when this program came out.
Wow.
Now, locally, Philabundance, which is our area's biggest food bank, is taking an 18% drop in their food budget because of this funding cut. That's about $1.5 million. So they're really going to be dependent more on donated items now. And so, if you needed an excuse to clean out the cupboard, or if you just want to help out and donate, this would be a great time to help out some of your local food pantries, food banks, because a lot of them are facing drastic changes in their budget because of these cuts.
Yeah, that's what I mean about like short-term, long-term. Like you make a short-term financial cut here, but does that cost us and the government more in the long term when you have more and more people who are living in poverty and are struggling to have 3 meals a day?
Does anyone else wish they were somewhere else right now?
Maybe in Ireland or Lithuania? Is that what you're referring to, Siani, the portal?
Hey, I think that's the only way I'm getting to Europe anytime soon.
Well, hopefully, if we can keep the portal, because, guys, Philly has no cool. Another incident of vandalism at the portal was revealed this past week. So the portal, this like art installation that connects us to 3 other cities around the world, we talked about it on the show that some vandals had stripped its copper wiring and then it went offline. And then when they like removed the protective covering over it, when they were starting to bring it back, it was revealed that it had like its screen was smashed up a bit, like as if rocks had been thrown at it. So the portal has now been vandalized at least twice in Philadelphia, and in all the other cities that the portal has gone to and been installed at, there have never been any incidents of vandalism. What's up with that?
God, Philly, leave the damn portal alone.
Right. So it's expected to be back up and running today, but just for a couple of weeks. And then they're moving it from Love Park, which is, I guess, a good idea given the situation. They also like have to accommodate for the annual Christmas Village and whatnot. So they want to move it to another location, potentially an indoor location. Guys, where do you think it should go?
That makes sense. Love Park, there's always so much going on.
Yeah.
It'll make it easier for them to put it somewhere else. I don't know. I feel like maybe just because this is like an art installation, I'm thinking maybe somewhere on the Parkway, maybe somewhere around the art museum, Rocky Steps. I mean, there's plenty of green space kind of all around that area. So I could see it moving somewhere over there.
Right. Where would you put it, at the top of the steps or at the bottom of the steps with the Rocky statue?
I feel like I'd want the art museum to be in the background. Like I'd want the other countries to like be able to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe like, that like water fountain, the kind of median area, like maybe around there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Or you could flip it around and show that beautiful view of the Parkway going towards Center City would be another nice backdrop for other cities.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Siani, where do you want the portal moved to so it doesn't get busted up by Philadelphians?
What would be most feasible? Because again, it's about foot traffic. You want people to engage with it and, don't get paywalled in a sense to interact with it. I feel like if Love Park actually did something with that flying saucer that is just chilling there undeveloped, like if people were able to like visit that center and that was there, so it's still in that central area in the city, that would have been nice. I didn't realize it was going indoors at first. I thought, maybe they'll move it.
That's what they say. They might have to put it indoors, yeah.
I thought maybe they'd move it closer to City Hall just because, again, like more foot traffic or something. But it would run into the same issue that you mentioned about the Christmas Village. So,
right.
I don't know.
If you were to go indoors, you could do like 30th Street Station, which is a beautiful building, and there's foot traffic. You get like tourists, and which is fine, but you also get, plenty of commuters and whatnot. So that seems like a possibility. Plus, it's like secure. So, you can't steal copper wire from the middle of 3rd Street Station.
That's
It's
true.
like, where do you put it in a spot where people walking by are being like, this is in my way. I need this out of my way.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm always like running in 30th Street
Right.
Station, I
You're
will
gonna be
say.
running through the portal. Yeah. On a more positive note, much more positive than the portal news, the city this week named a stretch of 59th Street, the 59th Street Bridge, after locally born and raised celebrity Will Smith. Will Smith Way is on the bridge that Will Smith used to take every day to Overbrook High School, where he graduated from in 1986. And they did a big ceremony. It was really great. He brought his mother to the ceremony. He's also got a new album coming out, by the way. I'm sure the timing is just a coincidence. And at the ceremony, the mayor, as she always is, was all energy. And she made a big ask of Will Smith, given the 250th anniversary of America that will be celebrated in Philly next year. Can I play a little bit from the mayor, Mayor Cherelle Parker?
Sure.
I want Will Smith to lead the effort to bring every creative genius that has come out of Philadelphia back to the city for a concert on the Parkway for the 4th of July. And listen to me, this vision, you keep the vision inside, but I'm telling y'all, I grew up watching the Jerry Lewis telethon. You don't even remember the Jerry Lewis telethon. But I thought to myself, what if all of our hometown heroes, what if Jeff and the Roots and Jill and you Black Thought and Meek and anybody who has connections to Philadelphia, what if we could raise the money, because it's not going to be free, and we could bring them all back for one day. One day.
So how about it? Cherelle Parker is willing a Will Smith run Philadelphia born and bred concert on the Parkway summer of 2026. What do you think, guys?
I love the ambition. I love putting rich, famous people on the spot.
Yes.
Butter them up and ask them for something big. Great plan. I love how it escalated. She named everyone. So
She named everybody.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
Got to add Jasmine Sullivan to the list, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You could do a whole weekend festival. It'd be amazing. And you do some up and comers. I love it. All right. We'll be right back after this break.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse April 3rd, only on Netflix.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Guys, what are you up to this weekend?
Well, for me, aside from not testing my mental willpower watching the Phillies play this season.
That's right. We got Phillies opening weekend.
Yeah, so see if I can catch some games on the TV, but otherwise, I really want to get some time outside. So if the weather holds up, I definitely love to stop by the Richmond Street Flea, just really take advantage of the market season as more and more vendors head outside with the warm weather. So that'll be this Sunday, March 30th from 11 to 5, and it'll take over Richmond Street between Clearfield and Allegheny. So plenty of vendors, whether it's food, clothes, some live performances. I've never been, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I think it will be a nice way to spend a Sunday.
Nice. I hope you pick up some good stuff. Abby, what are you up to this weekend?
I've got a very packed weekend this weekend. I have Friends and Family Day for my rugby team, Philadelphia Rugby Football Club, which is our biggest fundraiser of the spring season. So we have a double hitter, which just means both of our D3 and D1 team are playing against a team from South Jersey. So lots of local folks will be out there. It's $25 for tickets. With that ticket, you get a plate of food. We have catering. You get a alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic beverage of your choice. There's going to be raffle items. And then there's going to be a social at O'Neill's Pub off of South Street after the game. All of this is Shrek themed.
Shrek themed?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Please come out. We need money. We need new jerseys. They smell really bad. So please.
You're allowed to launder them, I think.
Trust me. I borax them. They smell horrible.
Wow.
My house smells disgusting when I have the jerseys in the house. It's horrible. So we want new jerseys. Please come buy a ticket to our day. It's so much fun. It is going to be in Fairmount Park at Edgeley Field starting, I think our first kickoff is 11 a.m. That's the game I'm playing. So make sure you come out.
That's awesome. Kick some South Jersey ass, Abby.
Oh, yeah. You know it. What have you got going on, Matt?
I also have a sports-related weekend as well, just like you guys. In addition to the Phillies, it's also opening day for a lot of Little League teams in the city. So my son has opening day on Sunday at FDR Park across from the stadiums, and for his baseball team, Go Dragons. And I was thinking, depending on how the game goes, if he's up for it, he loves cheesesteaks. And right by FDR Park is a new cheesesteak place from Skinny Joe Merlino, the longtime reputed mob boss of Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
Now, I've had a long fascination with the Philly mob. So Merlino was the prior boss of the Philadelphia mob. Then he did some time in prison for racketeering, extortion, bookmaking, all the things. Then he went to Florida for a bit. Now he's back in South Philly, and he's opening this cheesesteak place. It's right by the stadiums on South Broad Street. Curiously, last year, a Molotov cocktail started a fire in this building, which seemed to have delayed the opening of it. But now they're opening for real. And I'm hoping to go by. Maybe Joey Merlino will be there. He's not one to ever shy away from attention. When he was running the mob, would be on TV. He was sort of known as kind of like a celebrity mob boss. So I'm just fascinated by this turn of events that he is now a owner of a cheesesteak shop that he hopes to expand and open up all over the country. It's called Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks.
Wow. You're going to go support former mob boss?
Listen, I believe in a redemption story. He served his time. He's out free and clear, and, let's see how his cheesesteaks taste before I pass any judgment.
Yeah, you'll have to report back.
I will. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks so much, Matt.
See you guys.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our producers are Abby Fritz and Elizabeth Kama. Our Hey Philly newsletter editors are Siani Colon and Natalia Aldana. And our host is Trinae Nuri, who will be back next week. I'm Matt Katz, executive producer of the show. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from all the kimonos. If you enjoyed the show, give us 5 stars, leave us a review, subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, and maybe spread the word in the group chat. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.